Hey guys, welcome back to Pickin' Roots and Shoots. I'm Kelly and you're in my kitchen and I just got home with a giant order from Azure Standard. I've got it on all the counters all around me. It's probably my biggest order in square feet yet. So let's jump in. I can't wait to show you what I got. Okay, so this is not my largest order ever, but I think container wise and how much room it took up in my car, it definitely was. This is 240 pounds of food, and I am going to be doing a lot of longer term food prep with this. I can't wait to show you how our family likes to store some of these items. We'll just start with these because they're in front and they're in my way. I don't even no. So Azure, if you're not familiar, is a bulk ordering system. It's not always bulk items, but you're ordering it in a group with a co-op in your area. So it can be repackaged into different containers. But this is an Azure box, so I think this is one of my Azure items. Oh, it is. Okay. So I decided my kids have been really complaining. I think I said last month that I use the macaroni noodles for everything, and I pretty much do, unless I make some homemade lasagna. But because they were asking for some regular pasta, I figured this would get us through kind of the winter. This is 10 pounds of original kind of whole grain spaghetti, all organic, and this will last us through the entire winter. I think I just had someone running out to play. They're excited that I'm filming. That was 10. The pasta was on sale this month. That was 10 pounds of pasta, and the price point on that was $28.68, just in case you're kind of keeping track. What else did we get here? So this is a refrigerated freezer item. Oh, yay. Okay. So I like to buy organic food. You guys know this. This one is not organic, but my family absolutely loves it. And I feel better about it than what I can get at my local grocery store that's not organic. So I've one really picky eater that only wants the yellow and white cheese. He doesn't care what it's actually made out of. So we're going for this right now. We do a lot of breakfast burritos and things like that on the weekend. So there's a little bit of extra cheese there. And it kind of tends to be, I've got two family members that almost always will reach for this cheese over any of the others. The rest of the cheeses that we get are organic, but I really like this one. It's made in California. And if you buy them together, yes, it's a better deal. So I bought 2 bricks. I will take probably both of them and just go ahead and shred them and freeze them so that they will be ready to go in, quart size, maybe half-gallon size units so that I make sure and get to use it all. Okay, so these are random weight cheeses. So basically 5-pound blocks. I got 10 pounds and it was $36.49. So again, that's going to be more than your typical grocery store brand, but I feel a lot better than what I would get at my typical grocery store. Okay, next. Okay, so this is, whoops, come on. This is a combination box of several of my items here. And I made a video recently where I'm making my sourdough discard crackers. We use the heck out of this. My kids love it. If I make a tray, they eat an entire tray in a day. So I always have to make 2 if I want to have any leftovers. And we use this everything but the bagel seasoning. I like that everything in it is organic. I think eventually, if I really wanted to save some money, I would make my own mixture. But honestly, at this point, I'm just not going through enough to really make that worthwhile. So this is organic. It's the hidden nature variety. So this is 1.1 pounds. Why is it such a weird? Wait, this is 1.11. I guess they put it as 1.11 on the invoice because that's what they ship it based on. So that includes the packaging. So this is a 1-pound package, and this package is $19.94. So it's kind of spendy, but we use this every day and it will usually last me for a couple months. Oh, I got some whole cream. So if you guys remember, I think last month I got some of the Nancy's sour cream. I cannot wait to start making this into my own cream. I really like to do that. I feel like it's really good and fresh. Although I really did like the Nancy's sour cream, I can't wait to do that with this one. So this is an A2 heavy cream. 100% organic. And honestly, these are kind of hard to come by. So we'll put you right in the fridge. So that heavy whipping cream was $7.40, which is kind of expensive, but I'm really enjoying having that variety and the ability to make it with that A2 milk. A2 milk, if you're not familiar with it, it's definitely something that you should take a look at, something you might want to Google. It's not the only milk that's out there that's great and healthy, but it is one that works really well for my family. And some great northern beans. Honestly, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, I had so many things in my cart this month that I decided I would just get the 5 pound bag and let this carry me through for a month or two. And then I'm going to re up and get the big 25 or 50 pound bag, whatever it is, whatever the largest size that doesn't come on a pallet, because that's the way that we use these. But I wanted to have some on hand because I feel like I've got a lot of beans that are kind of getting low in my stockpile. And what I want to do is convert to using mostly like 2 kinds of beans. Right now I have this really big variety. Some of them got a little bit older. So I want to kind of cycle through all of those and maybe go to just this and maybe a black bean or pinto bean or something like that to add a little variety, but not 15 different types of beans, which is what I have done in the past. So I got 5 pounds of Great Northern bean. I really like to kind of use these in a variety of recipes. Okay, so these are the Great Northern beans. It's 5 pounds, and I bought it for $9.58. So that's a really great buy. If I'm making these into quart-sized jars, roughly it's only going to take about 1 cup of beans per quart-sized jar. And I think a cup, a quart-sized jar roughly is going to be about the same size as 2 cans. So your bang for your buck on that front is quite a lot more. Plus, I like knowing what's in my canned foods. Okay, 2 boxes down. Now this says organic cottage fries on it, but that is not what I ordered. Let's see what we got. I have ordered those. They're actually pretty good. But I saved that for summertime when we're out and on the barbecue pit a lot. I want to have something that I can throw as a side on the grill. So I don't have any of that. Okay. Oh, yay. So it is getting close to Thanksgiving. And so I went ahead and bought this 5 pound bag of frozen cranberries. I am going to use this to make my own cranberry sauce. And then if I can, I'll probably keep it in the freezer. I'm trying to still get ready for that big beef coming in. So that may be a problem. I may go ahead and jar up the rest of this into probably pint-sized jars or even half pints so that I can have like little pieces of it throughout the season. I like to use this in with our smoothies or any of the like yogurt filled items. So if I'm making popsicles, it's kind of nice to have something a little bit tart to mix in other than just cherries. So I will move this out to the freezer. I'll put my cold stuff out here so I don't forget anything. Okay, down to my last 2 boxes, and then we can get into all this fun produce. So this I think is another kind of mix box that they've repurposed. Ah, yes. Little sales flyer. Okay, so I've got a ton of stuff that I've been putting in the dehydrator. I had a lot of cabbage and onions and some carrots. I can have a really quick and easy ready mix dried ingredients for soups. So if I have onions and celery and carrots and cabbage, then I already have pretty much the beginnings of a really good soup. Chicken stock and a little bit of meat of some sort, or even a can of beans, and that turns right into a meal. And lately, we have been running around with our hair on fire. I've got kids in swim team, and I feel like we're never home. And I homeschool, which is crazy, but we are just kind of on the go all the time. So if I have a late night where I didn't get everything together in the morning, I want to be able to walk into the kitchen and just make it happen in like 30 minutes. So that is one of those kind of standbys that I like to keep around for an easy meal at the last minute, because generally speaking, we really don't eat out. So I went ahead and bought, how many did I buy? One, two, I bought 4 celery groups. Again, this is probably something that you might be able to grow in your garden. I think I'm going to probably save the bottoms and let the kids play with those and try to make those into plants over the winter, because we like to grow things in the window if we can. And that's one of those things that seems to do really well in the beginning and then kind of get forgotten. So it'll be perfect. So I'm really pleased with that. These look pretty good. They're Not it's woo, that's exciting. They're not as bruised as I was expecting. No, they're not quite as green as I was expecting, but that's okay. It'll be fine. We're gonna dry them anyway. The other thing that came in this box is I was out of my. Oh, I didn't give you prices. Hold on. Where's my celery? Okay. So for my celery, that was $11.84 to get those 4 bushels or bunches or whatever you want to call celery when it's put together. I think that's a pretty good price for organic celery, because usually if I get organic celery at the grocery store around here, they're tiny. These are really big. There's a lot of volume to them. It's exactly what I wanted. I did not get you prices on the berries. It was 5 pounds and it was $14.57. So cranberries per pound are typically fairly expensive, especially if they are organic. So that is why I went ahead and got the 5 pound variety, and I went ahead and went with the frozen instead of the fresh. Because at this instance, since I'm going to be cooking them down anyways and I'm not going to be eating them fresh, they'll be just fine. I got this giant bag of cinnamon sticks. We use this in mulled wine. I like to have it in my apple ferments. And as you will see in the rest of these lovely produce boxes behind me, I've got some fermented apples in my future. And I really like to go heavy with the cinnamon. I'm going to actually even try doing some powdered cinnamon in the next couple batches. So I knew I would use this entire 1 pound bag probably this winter. We also like to have it in mulled wine or mulled juice for the kids. It just kind of feels nice and warm and cozy. So I know we'll get through this, and we even use a lot of these sticks for crafting. So this was $14.73 for a 1 pound bag of my 2.3, no, 2 3/4 inch sticks. So I think that's a really good buy as well. And I know we'll make great use of it. Okay. And last but not least, I have this, oh gosh, this big box here. This is something I wanted to buy because I wasn't sure how long they would have it during the winter. So a couple months ago, this was part of my order and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of it that I kept in the freezer and some of it that I canned, but I'm going to have to can this entire batch. So let me get you a good shot so you know how the packaging is going to come. Okay, so I got an entire box of this frozen sweet corn. This is 20 pounds and it comes in this food grade bag. It is not sealed. It definitely has to be attended to pretty quickly. Now, normally I would put this in individual baggies and then put it in my freezer and keep it that way. We like to use that occasionally for my quart size bags. But because this is the season that we're about to get that full beef in, I know I'm not going to have room in the freezer for it. So probably in the next 3 or 4 days, I'm just going to go ahead and thaw this and process it just like it was fresh corn and go ahead and can it up and have it be shelf stable so it's not taking up room in my freezer. Because right now I have the space, but in 3 days, I'm not going to have the space. So you know what I'm doing later this week. Okay, so that's it for all my hold stuff. Okay, so that was 20 pounds of sweet corn, and the price point there is $57.54. But it's all organic, and I know I liked it. I got this one other time earlier this summer, and it just worked out perfectly for my family. And the price point is better than what I would get if I was going to the regular grocery store and trying to source it. I also feel really strongly about corn, and if I could grow it in my own yard, that's absolutely what I would do because then you know what it's been exposed to 100%. And unfortunately, you just have to trust the farmers that you're getting it from. And I feel really good about the Azure Standard group. So that is why I like to get my corn there. Okay. Next. Yep. I got two. I'm completely crazy. So this is a new product for Azure. They didn't have it before. I don't know. I saw it for the first time last month, and then when I went to order it, it was out of stock. So I was like, "Gosh darn it, I'm gonna get two." So that's exactly what I did. I ordered two. This is their juicing grade carrot. So let me show you what these look like. Okay, so I did get 2 boxes of these, and I am going to pick through them and probably pick any of these that are larger like this that I can go ahead and peel and can. I'm going to do that with them. And then some of these other ones, we're just going to see. This was a new product. So again, I hadn't seen this on their list before last month. And then when we got it this month, I got two. This is 20 pounds of organic carrots, and that was $16 for the entire box. So for organic carrots, I feel like that's a good price. And again, it's not going to be their prettiest ones, but it does look like we got a little bit of variety of colors and stuff. So I'm excited to check this out. I'm going to have lots of help from the kids to get that processed. So that's going to be something else that we're canning up this month. Check this, because nothing fits. Now, this was not from Azure, but I did get some more toddler lids because I was out. So, you know, canning, it never ends. Okay, so this next box is my juicing apples that I got. And I tried to order some of these last month and they were also out. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the season entirely. And I went ahead and ordered 2 boxes of these juicing apples. This is the organic, excuse me. Yeah. Hey, you want Mom? All right, this is any of the in-season juicing apple that Azure sells. So you might not always get the same variety. So please don't look to this box and think that that's exactly what you're getting. But let's take a peek here. We're going to be making applesauce in cinnamon applesauce, and I know the kids will really like it. I've got one kid back there eating. Yes, thanks, Mom. I've got one kid back there eating apples right now. So sometimes when you get these juicing grades, they're not the prettiest. There's definitely, some bruising, but they look pretty good. I could sit down and eat any of these apples right now, probably, and be just fine. But there are some slightly different varieties. Some of them are kind of small, and that's never as much fun to have to process because it is a little bit more work. Let's look at the other box. And that's about the same. So some of these are going to be smaller apples. I do like to can my applesauce with the skins on. If I were going to be peeling every last one of these before I process them, then that would be really time consuming. So I would absolutely put it in the canner, or excuse me, in the roasting pan or your big stock pot. I would cook it down with the skin on it and wait for the food mill to pull it off. But I generally like to leave the skins on if I can. So I may still try to run these through the apple peeler slicer core and then just leave the skin on and just use that to core and slice my apples. So we'll see how that works out, and I'll let you guys know for sure. And if not, I can always run it through the food mill and take it off. But there's a lot of nutrition in the apple peel itself, so that's why I feel better if I can really get a great organic variety and then do a good thorough job of washing it. I really like to try and leave them on if I can. All right, 2 more boxes and the big bag. Actually, let's do the big bag. Okay. So I bought another bag of hard white wheat. Last year, there was a time, I think it was November or December, that they didn't have hard white wheat available. So I feel like, wheat's not going to grow during the winter months. So if there's a time where that's going to be something that is less prolific on their shelf, it is wintertime. So I wanted to make sure I was going into the winter. I'm going to vacuum seal this entire bag and throw it in with some Mylar bags and put it kind of in a long-term storage for us. I'm still working through that last bag, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have a gap where I needed hard white wheat berries. So I'll go ahead and link you guys the video where I show kind of pouring this bag together so you could see what that looks like, but I'm sure they will be just fine. Okay, now down to our last 2 boxes of produce. Because I'm an absolute glutton for punishment, we were actually running low on our regular eating apples, and I wanted to just go ahead and not miss the season. I grabbed an entire box of these Fiji apples. They do look a little bit rough to me. I'm not as pleased with them as I would have thought. This one's kind of shrivelly. And let me get you the overhead camera so you can really see. So the other, let's see. Let me give you some price. So the juicing apples, these guys, were 20 pounds for the smaller boxes, 20 pounds, and it was $25.95 per box. This one, 21 pounds, and it's $35.50 per box. So for the price difference, I'm not sure that I would spring for these again, or maybe it's just this late in the season. I mean, they look okay. There's a couple that are pretty rough though. I mean, definitely not what I was expecting for my kind of, what level? Did I buy a secondary tier? I don't know it. No, these are apples, uh Fuji organic, and that's all it says. So I did not buy a juicing grade, but again, you know, the first 5 or 6 that I'm picking up have problems. This one has problems. I'm not loving this box as much as most, but if we can pick around it, we will. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like they're always really good and fair with their stuff. So if you're really disappointed, I would absolutely call and talk to someone in customer service. They usually will do everything in their power to make it right. I feel like they take such great care of us most of the year that I'm not going to be too upset about this. We will cut around it. I will use it in the applesauce if there's anything funky. And then we'll just maybe not get that. Yeah, there's quite a few soft spots, guys. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not. So this may be one that I call customer service on, and we'll just kind of see where we're at. If I was paying juicing grade for these, I wouldn't be disappointed in that. But for paying a premium price, I think that's a lot of damage. So, all right. So that's my apples. I also grabbed a case of pears. So these were out of stock last month, and I was really excited to get some. So I'm glad to have them here now. These are the just straight green organic pears, 20 pounds for $23.45. So not quite at that $35 price tag, so I'm not going to be concerned about that little blemish. Look at that. It looks like it's perfect for Christmas. Has both leaves on it. Or Thanksgiving. So some of these are a little bit smaller, but that'll be okay. We'll make that work. Okay, guys, so this is what 240 pounds of food and insanity looks like. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. I really love getting to see what other people are buying and what items are working out well in their kitchen and what things they can buy for longer term storage and how they're making that get into the transition of being longer term storage. So if you like watching these unboxing videos or any of my other tutorials, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. And until then, I will see you next time. Okay, I got this giant bag of celery sticks.